Alright, we are... Oh, just in time. I was going to say almost ready to start, but no, it's 5:30. It's perfect. Welcome everyone to another stream on Norfolk Dev. My name is Alexio, and today we're going to continue to work on our mobile app. We've been chatting a bit here on the side, just getting coffee. It's something. Hope everyone is all doing alright. Yeah, the curtains are terrible. Unfortunately, I need to go with a more custom solution because, well, cardboard is fine and dandy, but apparently it starts to bend when it gets too hot. And when the lady points out that says, well, you kind of need a blind, well, that's the time you really need the blind, I guess. But yeah, that's the situation. Maybe we get a stream just dedicated to that. How to order, measure. What's the best deals? What's the best frameworks to do that? Alright, Alex is a bit out of commission today, unfortunately. Hopefully he'll just recover fine. Best wishes for him. Oh, I got my coffee. Let's start. Let me move things back to desktop. Hello everyone. Let's see, I have the emulator today ready. Microphone should be fine. Let me know on the chat if the microphone is alright. Just because I really don't want the incidents of last streams. Just cutting out. Just let me confirm really quickly. I'm not killing it. We have the famous Raycons. Quite nice. And microphone is on. Yep, perfect. No incident so far. Perfect. Good. Oh, God. Yeah, so far it's working fine. I mean, I'm just waiting for him to revolt again. Just the second time it just falls off. But hopefully he'll run to our stream. Right, so let me recap. Because it has been 1 week. One hell of a week to me. And I just need to recap what we did. We did manage to do some sort of more interesting kind of things with React Native. That was moving between screens, moving data between screens, getting that result data back. So we were on, where we were on the add goals. Excuse me. We did once it hits. Let me just show you guys here. So we just going to the next screen, which would be add goal. We just type something random. We were going to say add goal, and that add goal would just trigger and it'll send whatever message it was on goal back to home. And we had some bug that needed to update, and now it's not showing. I believe we did this on purpose, but I still need to see why. But basically, it would go into where is it? Profile component, nope, not profile, sorry, the goals component. And it will check for returning data. If there was returning data, basically it's stringing A, so A is showing here. It's not going to B, so data is not being passed on along, which is really weird, because I could have sworn everything was working fine last time. All right, so for today, we have 1.5 goals. I'm going to say 1.5 because there's an extra goal now, right? Which is to fix this for any sort of reason. Oh, Dom, just join us. Hi. So we have 2 goals for today, or 1.5. First of all would be to try to fix why isn't goals just passing to B, but I believe that was the reason yesterday, last stream, which was point B. We are going to actually save data and then retrieve it once we go on the goals again. So therefore, will be something in the lines of once we add a new goal, it will store it on the app. And then, it goes kind of it's, just this is the problem, just working 1 time a week is that sometimes you just go in and it's like you haven't seen the code for like a month or something, and it'll be like, Who was the idiot that programmed this? And unfortunately, I have no one to blame at this point. But yeah, the goal would be that goal would be saved, and then once you go back, it basically goes and checks if they're basically we're going to do the lazy way. We're going to do get data every single time. Do not be concerned if the data is repeated or not, especially because we, at least right now, I'm not planning to add, let's say, 1,000 goals or 2,000 goals or large enough data that would just make this operation kind of slow on our mobile phone. So let's try to, first of all, see what app are we going to use. Oh, there he is. Here's our stream. Let me put a like on it. You do the same, please. Let me close this one. Now, I'm going to need something to store data on the app. Now, by default, we could use either directly through SQLite. I mean, directly, quote unquote. Obviously, it needs to be programmed in, although the libraries, I believe, are there. But SQLite, although it's a fairly smaller port than just you going by good old MySQL, it's still a bit heavier for what we need. We just need small chunks of data, and just going in and just doing a whole database might be too overkill, especially because we can store data almost like JSON kind of data. So let's go with that approach, which is way simpler and quicker to do. But again, it requires us to install a package. So let's see. I believe what I want, I don't have anything here. So let me close these two friends. This is an issue, we'll just go there in a minute. But we need, what's it called? Async storage? There's some libraries that do fairly close the same. So I'm just trying to figure out which one is it. Is this the one? Maybe not. Is this the one? Almost. Because this one is deprecated, unfortunately. Community package is basically what we've been using so far, such as React Navigation. And I believe we had other libraries there, but yeah, we need this one. Okay, we were on the correct place. Good. Documentation. Yep, it's the one. It's the one with the treasure chest and the React logo. It's quite subtle, but it's there. So again, the usual ritual. We are using NPM on this case. Although, I mean, right now it's the same thing, isn't it? I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but in terms of performance and feature-wise, we basically do the same. Unless you guys are complaining on the chat and I cannot see it. But we basically have the same kind of approach. At least when I discovered Yarn, it really looks the same. I didn't see any sort of differences. So, okay, let me just then clear this console here. We're going to use this one to operate. And this, let me just do a clear here. Wait. This is feature 4. Which is this one? Show a form to angle. Oh, we actually did this. Although it's not really working. Kind of reluctant to finish, but it's kind of... The feature is done. We just need to fix it more of as a side bug. So let me do 2 in 1. We'll close this one. We'll start working on the next one in order to fix this and actually convert this into the sync storage instead of directly passing data through. So, let me remove these little bodies. Save it. What changes did we do? Well, we just removed the whole data structure and put on get previous data, put current data, that's fine. Use focus just for the get more space, really tiny. Get more space, use callback, use focus effect. Actually, use focus effect is from, oh, right. It's from React Navigation because it's one of the navigation kind of triggers. So it's a hook, but it's from React Navigation itself, which is weird. I thought that one was from actually just React. Well, there we go. Hook to run an effect in the focus screen, similar to React.useEffect. Oh, okay. Keys to platform. Side effects such as fetching data or subscribing to events, passing callbacks should be wrapped in React use callback to avoid running the effect too often. Okay, basically kind of what we did. Now it does need to be refactored. That's fine. Let me just do one thing here really quickly. Oh, you really weirdly showing the chat. Okay. Need to keep an eye on the chat because I don't want to repeat the last incident of people screaming me the solution. I was like, what should I do? Apologies for that. Okay, everything seems to be fine. Let's call this one number 4. And let's say add return data to all data. Fortunately, I have this one and next one, just 2 streams to finish. So I'll try to get as much features as I can. If I need to polish, I'll just probably do it later as updates or something. But as we kind of focus on the core. That's basically what I'm more focused on. Is just having those core concepts and ideas on the app. And if it is a bit rough on the edges, that's fine. Main goal is more of building an overall kind of working app, just to get an idea how does things communicate with one. So, okay, everything seems to be fine. Usual the pull request again. Yep, 1 minute. There we go. I need to see a way to just select by default development instead of main. Getting a bit tired of doing this all the time. Oh god. And I always forget to copy the name of the issue. Let's copy this. Let's put it here, here. Get this, put this. There we go. Sign myself, sure. Okay, that's fine. Let me just use the sound here. I don't want to have my tablet making noises. Let's do a quick check, shall we? We don't want any accidents. Let's see. We have the navigation here with the new navigation to add goals. Basically that's it. We did install some new package. We did install the package navigation stack. This is fine as well. It's just we had navigation stack, add goal component, and add goal screen, which one has the form, which is this one, and this one has all the logic behind it, which was just getting data out of it. We'll just handle that in a second. We'll just do some refactoring there. That's fine. Let's see what we have here. We have this dummy data was reduced, and we instead add the state here. We just staple the new data back into the state. Although we did see there was some bugs. What's the agenda today? Hi, Hamza. So agenda for today. You did miss it. Basically, what we're doing now is add data storage features, such as storing the data of our goals, retrieving those goals, presenting to the user. That's the main goal for today. And hopefully we'll get a list and get a sort of CRUD going on, such as now that we can add data, then we can select, delete, to edit, those kind of fun operations that, well, are a bit boring to do, but they are the backbone, unfortunately, of an app. I also want you to add some sort, and this is built in, but I probably cannot do this today. It might be too many features. There's a feature that you can select on a list item, and you can drag it around. Now, how to do that, or you still need to see how to do that. I know there are triggers inside of the list that can be done, but they still need some sort of adjustment. It would be nice just to put an import in and that's it, but unfortunately that's not the reality. There's a floating action button here with the action to do the press. It will go into here, right? I didn't see that action. Oh, there it is. Okay, perfect. Looks good enough for me. Hopefully for you guys, it's looking good as well, and you're not too revolted with my code. Okay, merge, yep. Do it. Done. Oops. We want that. Can I close it from here? Doesn't show. Okay, that's fine. Let me then close by hand, close issue. Now I'm just going here, close this one, and saying finish. Finish, finish. There we go. Because fab is floating action button, and since it starts, every component starts with capitals, basically it gets abbreviated as fab. That's why. So let me see. I mean, if I'm seeing correctly what you're saying, let me see. You're saying here, yep, that's the name of the component. Let me open. Let me open. Okay, he's not collaborating with me with control click. Let's see what that is. React Native paper. Fab. Yeah, but basically that's the name because, well, it's a floating action button. And that would be an enormous text here. Therefore, fab, it's a bit abbreviated. And he still needs to be capitalized, so his tip handles the style. Still. Yeah, that's the main reason. Now, it could be fab with AB as lowercase, but I believe it's just to keep consistency. Right, so now we can take care of what we started to do just a minute ago, which is let's install things. Let's make things more fun, right? I can have a bit more of coffee. This week has been horrible. I'm drinking more coffee than I should. Then again, I need to be alert just to keep on going with the app. I'm not falling asleep on the keyboard, nor doing any breaks. Okay, so now he's complaining, which is weird. I don't recall we had any sort of problems. Let's see. Add Go component. Okay, this is a new one. Let's see. Clear. Let's launch it again. Let's start npm again. Here, no, it takes a minute. Okay, just a second. He's building, but he still says React Native async storage. Nice. I don't know why is it here, but okay. Perfect. Apparently it was nothing again. So one unfortunate thing with React Native is that sometimes it will just freak out. So as a person sometime in the past has handled someone in a panic attack, the best thing is just to keep calm and just start from the beginning, assuming that you did nothing wrong. And apparently it does work most of the times on React Native. Sometimes things will break even because it was just a library was just added and it didn't remove the previous build or something. So you kind of need to be careful that sometimes it's not your fault. Sometimes things will break and then you just need to keep calm and not actually go in, pulling things apart and then breaking things, and then we'll just continue with a different error. That's kind of a spiral that sometimes happens, and most of the times, if you just restart things, it'll just work. I know it sounds a bit like Like saying it will work out by magic. And sometimes it is. But there's a method to this madness, I assure you guys. Right, so now it's working fine. I mean, the library is not crashing anything. And now the goal would be then to actually refactor this. Once we click add goal, to store it, wait a bit, maybe show a loading animation, and then once it goes back, the operation is done with success, then on the goal side, we'll just retrieve, excuse me, by doing an operation that basically triggers check for data, store it. If it is stored, then retrieve something. If not, we're just going to do a pretty thing, which is just checking if the data is just empty. We'll just show a nice centered kind of text with probably an icon saying there's no data right now, which is far better than just, you know, a blank screen, which kind of seems like for some reason it crashed, which it didn't. So let's start by doing that. So let's see. Let's start pulling things apart, which is always the fun part, isn't it? So we click on floating action button. We're going to add, which is this part. So here's our logic to handle on results. What we need to do then is this one out. Oh, actually, we need to do other things. We need to start a new feature. I almost forgot about it. So a new feature will be called add storage, data storage. And it'll be like tool to sync storage. Then the next step would be to actually replace the data navigation data to store data. Damn it. Thinking and typing sounds a bit weird. Just for Alex, we'll try to add as much animations and pretty things as we can, since he can hear me too well. Replace the navigation to store data. Replace navigation data with data test. Here we go. Although I do find that it will be an interesting stream, not right now, but in the future, to have sort of pipeline to not only, I mean, mostly for me it will be more on the React Native side of things, but actually like on general, because I do see a lot of solutions with, well, Jenkins and Amazon and whatnot, but it would probably be interesting just try to see if I could build some sort of manual pipe, or at least something that integrates well with GitHub that doesn't really require any sort of too much of a heavy solution. So I'm seeing things around. I try different approaches, and I'm always looking into how to have less work. By that I mean automate things. And if you get some sort of system that we can just deploy things like that, that would be perfect. We just compile to Android and just goes in automatically into the store, and that would be just a dream. Obviously, we need to also introduce tests, otherwise we'd just be compiling over and over bugs, and that would be not recommended. Okay, so what do I have here? This one is the issue. The issue is number 6. We actually just did this one. So let me grab number 6, and I don't need to grab it. So I just need to create. Damn it! Feature start number 6. This one, and now it's created. Perfect. Work, and now we actually can start doing things. Now, what do we want to do? We want to store data once we click add goal. Right now, we save it, will not do anything. Or did I not save this? It is not compiled. It shouldn't be doing anything. So let's try that again. It's empty? It is empty. Let's add goal. There we go. So I just needed to reload. For a minute, I was like, oh God, what did I do? Now it's working fine. Now it's not doing anything. Oh, that's fine. Regrettably, we did restart with ultra low latency. We're not allowed to close captions. Oof. Well, sometimes I might be speaking too quickly. Maybe closed caps might be a good idea. I don't know. So, right. All right, let me close this one. Let me close this one. And I want this one. We have already installed things. Recall that on iOS, you might need to do a pod install after you installed everything. I did install the library. And I believe that CLI auto-link feature links module. This is for iOS, so do not forget to do a pod install. And we are using React Native above 0.59, so it's fine. We don't need to do the link. It's done for us automatically. Windows, I have no idea. Never done this in Windows. But apparently CLI auto-link feature, so it should be fine. Right, so next page, we want to actually use it. As you can see, this is very simple. It just has like 3 to 4 links. This is just what we need. This is to store data, and this is to retrieve data. So first step, store data. We just need to do this simple try catch. And what we need to do is essentially, we get that value, whatever that is. We define a key, and we say set item to that value. Now that value needs to be as a string, because otherwise, well, it cannot be. It's basically what it's doing is leveraging a bit of the Android storage system, the internal one. We can store natively strings or values on Android. I think it's believe it's what is it called? Is it something in the lines of local storage? But basically, you can store there's something in the lines of if you want to store settings for the app without actually storing them on a database, you can do that. Basically, it's leveraging that part. In order to do that, because it's a string, we need to actually stringify. Let's just copy this part. Let me this part. Let me first put here. Actually, we're just going to put it outside. Let's call this one store goal system. Store data, sure. Value for now is a string. Is a string, right? Right. Yep. Goal, and then goal would be here, and then we're just going to call this one second. Now, what we'll do is it'll do JSON value. Verify, although a bit redundant, but since we might add values to our goals here, such as categories and whatnot, for now we'll just keep it this extra step here, which is still fine. There's an await, so we still need to hold that. Oops, not this one. It needs to be the new one. There we go. And this is the key to store the JSON value. Another thing we need to do is actually to do a constant. So we're going to call the key. Let's call this one. We obviously need to move things from here into actual proper module. But for now, to build the first draft, go with this one. Let's go this. And actually, we have a better name for this. No, actually, key goal sounds about right. No. This is just one value. Yeah, well, let's just take care a second. First of all, console.log. We need to see the errors. I have no idea what does come on that error message, so let's put our stringify here just in case it's an object. Shared preferences, that's the thing that I was looking for. Thank you, Hamza. Yeah, shared preferences is the, I believe that's the way that the sync storage implement on the Android side. On iOS, I know it's something similar, although it's called. Right, so this would be our base kind of way of storing things. Now, as you can see, this is a problem in the sense that if we call this with a value, you always store the same value over and over on the same place. So we need to get actually data and just add it to it. Right, so let's do this. We need to, now we have a way to store data. We need a way to also retrieve data. There we go. Should it be this one? What's the difference between these two friends? One is a string, the other is an object value. We actually want an object because we wanted to actually retrieve a list of objects, not just a string, unfortunately. String would be easier. And store goal into the system, and this one would be our. Again, I'm going to move these two into their own modules so that I can access them throughout the app, not just here. So instead of store, would be retrieve. The goal list from storage. That's better. Storage. Oh, this one is save the goal list in storage. If the add symbol is necessary, not really. It was the data that came by default. You could just name it whatever you want, to be honest. I just put it like this because it was a string, but I will change it in a minute. So yeah, do not worry about the at here. It's just a string. Actually, you can see it from here. Yep, there we go. Type string. So yeah, there's no kind of parsing or just trying to detect if it has the at there. Right, so we'll just do the same thing here, and we need to start testing this thing out. It is too close, so let's debug error and I'll store data, and this will be get data. This way, we'll always know if there's a problem. Okay, starting to shape up. Now, we can't directly save because of reasons that we said. It can't be a string. So it needs to be an array of type string at this point. Now, just to make sure that I'm doing the right thing. Yep, I would have type any. Well, it's not really. Oh, wait. Is it of type any? Data. Oh, okay, data as an ID and a title. That's why I see it. Okay, we need to do some adjustments. No problem. First adjustment would be we are going to create the data type. So let's call new folder. Call this one models. I mean, again, this is just my way of organizing things. You don't need to follow this way. And call this one a goal model, for instance. Yeah, it could be goal model. Yeah. Here would be export. Does it need to be default? Not really. Export, and then I'll be calling this one a goal. Sorry, export type goal, and it'll be like this. And does it need to be equal? I think it needs. There we go. And just one and things here. Make it prettier. This one goal model. And obviously, so what does it do? It does have, where is it? But it's here. It has an ID, which I'm using int, although I'm summing some the value. So I might use integers just for this one. Oop, for the ID, and then I'll just convert to string for the list. Because list apparently, although it uses IDs, it kind of uses a string as an ID. No idea why, but let's adapt to what the list wants afterwards, not before. Then there's a title, which is fine. So let me put ID as a number, and let me put title as a string. Oops. And maybe I will add also another field here would be the description. Description as a string. That way we can have a title, which is actually a title, not just goal. And then the description will have multi-lines. It can be stretched out, and people can just type their heart's content. And we can always add new things in the future, but for now it's just perfect. Let's get this goal. Close this one. And say this array is of type goal. Oh, actually it was here. There we go. We reported our type. Yep. And now it's stringifying. So let's call this not. Let's rename this better. Goal list. Array. I mean, this kind of arrays are kind of like lists, but yeah. And then there, goal array. Oh, goal array. Yep. Name, and it'll be JSON goal array. And there's the sync storage, which would be, there's the key, and there's the alt. That's just perfect. Now here would be the same thing. So here, 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 here. And this one, instead of use. Okay, perfect. It's just going to see if it exists, basically puts it, otherwise just puts null. Be honest, this is kind of confusing. Because basically, it is different from null. Oh, okay, I mean, I see what it means. It needs to be checked, otherwise I'll try to parse a null. And that will just, you know how things go with nulls. It's always fun. Okay. Looks alright, looks alright, looks alright. Here's our basic save and retrieve functions. Now, we do need to do one thing, which is we are not adding a list. We are actually saving the list. So we actually need a third method here, which is I have no idea what to call this one. So let's call this one I don't know. Constant get a new value and add to goals. I know I can make it shorter, but right now I'm out of ideas and I'm just trying to think of a better name. Let's see. What does this enormous name function needs to do? It needs to get the new value, right? It needs to value. It needs to add to the current list. It needs to save. All right. That's the goal. So let's do something like that then. Get a new value. So let's call this one, not this enormous name, but get new goal list. Or better yet, add to goal list. And then we'll just start data. Right, so this will be the new value. The new value would be of type goal. Goal. Right. And add value to the current goal list. Array. Damn it, I almost forgot. It's not list, it's array. Array. And I'm treating this as a list, but and list was let's not talk about my spelling here. And here, obviously, we can change this to... Okay, fair enough. I mean, I was trying to refactor an actual string. Let's call this one a goal array. Actually, call this one by the name array. Okay. Not list. Array. Array. Okay. Perfect. Now, to do this, we need to do what? We need to add new value. Well, we have the new value here. Add to the current list. So let's say constant current goal array. And that would be what? That would be an async. Oh, no, wait, actually. Because we need to wait to get that list and not continue to the next step until we get that list. And since this is an async storage, that kind of means it will not wait for whatever operation we are going to do. We're going to do, once the user clicks on it, it'll show a loading animation, which we need to do, and basically do all of these operations. So first of all would be get data, right? Something like this. And it's saying await is only allowed within a sync. Fix it? Sure. There we go. Did it break anything? It didn't break anything. Perfect. So now, let me do a quick check. Usual. If the current goal array. Well, I can do this. If it exists, stuff. Otherwise, other stuff. So if it exists, right, we just need to append the new value into the list to, let's see. This, I just need to do what operations do I have to? Okay. Fair enough. I forgot that I actually need to do an array. Right, because it needs to parse. Actually, I need to specify it as well here, but I'll just add in a minute. There needs to be an array of type goal. Right, right. So if it does exist, and if it's not null, and keep in mind, I haven't tested any of this, so it might break just line 1. I'm just designing as I go, which is always fun, especially people looking around and judging. So current goal array, and then what we have here, we have the push, we have the pop, but we don't want push, because push will put it on the bottom. We actually want the opposite spectrum of push. Array, how to add to the first position, which is not pop. On shift. Yeah, I recall there was a god forbidden name that doesn't make just... How does this suggest that you're going to put something first on array? Just... I mean, I like JavaScript, but sometimes certain things are just so infuriating. So this one is waiting for something, probably a value. And now we are just going to say if this exists, we just put it on the first position. Right. Otherwise, our current goal here, array, is equal to... so Hamza is asking, JSON parse will return object. How will we convert to array goal on line 44? Here you say, well, here you have two options. Is either null or is an object. Basically turn into this type of object. Now, we can say it implicitly or explicitly, because we didn't put any sort of... I think we can put in like in a way that is very strict. Like if TypeScript doesn't have a type, you'll just complain. You'll just consider that's an error. Now, sometimes I'm going to say that it doesn't help when you're learning. especially like new libraries, navigations, which are the core fundamentals of, well, Android and iOS and whatnot on React Native. I would advise not to put that level of stinginess, but oops, not here. But keep in mind that it needs to be something in these lines. Might be string or might be null. So it needs to be actually like, oh no. I think it's something like this. Let me try because I haven't done this that many times. So let me see. String or null is not assignable to string. Oh, actually, it needs to be string here because you'll get the key first. So it needs to be, it's here. Isn't that, or does it need to be a promise? It needs to be a promise. Let's see. Let me think about it. Then return. Well, it doesn't need to be a promise, does it? It does parse. Well, let's do it like this. If it is a promise, that's fine. It's complaining, and now it needs to be converted into a promise. And I'm saying, well, no problem with that. Function lacks ending return statement, and return type does not equal. And fine. Right, so no, is that a problem? Kinda. Okay. Do we want this? No, we want to throw. New error. Okay. Maybe like, I don't know. List. Call array. Right, because this is like this. Doesn't like it. Here we go. React Native gods do not like things to be unfinished. Now, I do need to test this thing because it's getting a bit larger than I would like without testing any proper thing. But that's fine. We are almost there. I just need to be confirming that. Now, this get data needs to have an extra step, which is then be the result. This is a promise. I mean, as far as I understand promises, this is how you should be, right? I mean, correct me on the chat. I mean, do I need to do return? I think it's just obvious, but oh, it needs to be brackets. And no bracket. Okay, apparently I was right. Right, we even can do a catch here, which could be useful if we are going to do one thing, which we are, which is move things from here to another place. And then if there's a problem, this catch will just go into the actual exception of the promise, and then we can handle there. Now, are we planning to crash the get data a lot? Not really. If it is null, it will just return as null, and we'll just check it here. If it can retrieve it, it'll just retrieve the whole object parsed. So, what do we need to do? Actually, it does parse it. Okay, because otherwise we'll just throw an error. Okay. So it's either null. Oh, actually, it's returning null, but it's not complaining. That's really weird. But okay. Right. So if it exists, just add it to the first position so that once we see it, once we scroll it, we'll see it on the top. If it doesn't exist, right, that's the problem. We need to do something in the lines of current call. It's actually equal to, let me see how to start an array here. That would be like what array? Yeah, push. Apply? Not really. As you can see, I've done this plenty of times. Actually, how to create an array, like, I mean, just Unassign current because it's a constant. Oh, yep, correct. Actually, you can't. That's why I wanted to put it as a push. There's no push. That doesn't make any sense. If there's an unshift, you should have a push. I mean, I'm not crazy, right? Oh, right. I see the problem. Because this now is a promise. It's not really as... this is actually not the result itself, but really is the result of the promise. Therefore, we cannot do this like this. Interesting. I didn't see this part. This is the interesting part of actually doing things as you go and not really like plan things out. That is not that elegant, unfortunately. So if I was going to do this, I would do something in lines of, I need to remove this. It doesn't really matter. Promise missing the fall properties, goal, length, prop, push. Am I? That's a really weird bug. But this one doesn't. Okay. Let's play this game. Let's keep it. Nishant. Hope I'm pronouncing your name correctly. Let me know if it's Nishant or Nishant. Like with more intuition on the T. Or on the A. English is a bit tricky. Sometimes I forgot that. There are different intuitions to other letters. And I'm not an English native. Okay, there's a bug here. What seems to be... Oh, right, because... so this one does something. And... doesn't look right. No, actually, it does make sense. Get me a list. Is actual array. And the result comes from then. Okay. No, actually makes sense. Because by here, you would expect to be a goal array. Okay, makes sense. So it also would make sense for me, right, to say if this is an array, I'm not crazy, I should have things here. Such things as push. But it doesn't. But this one has. This one exists. Right, let me... Oh, actually, it's almost like I forgot Java. You know? Is it like this, right? I might be wrong. I might be overtaking things. I might be, and I am probably. Cannot assign because it is a constant. No, that's correct. So instead of a constant, let. Okay, this way. Get this, if it is null, although if it is null, you should be able to assign it, but okay. I might be not seeing this correctly. Assign the value here. If the value exists, add to the first position. If it doesn't exist, just start a new array with value. Actually, the value. Goal. Oop, there we go. And once I've done this, right, I needed wait here, so we'll not go anywhere. We'll go to the next position, which is actually store data. Right. If I do store data now, you just need to be with our current goal array, which is of type array goal. And it should be now. Everything is very theoretical. Let's see this one crashing in practice. Store data. This one better just to... Do I need to specify this? a bit redundant, but for some reason I feel like it gives me a bit better readability of code. If I'm fairly sure that we can do this one better. Fairly sure, but that's fine. For now, we just need to move on, unfortunately. If value exists, and adds the new value to the beginning. Not really liking English here, but that's fine. Get the started goal array. Right, so it looks alright. The current goal array, if it does exist, then unshift. Otherwise, create new one, put it here. There's store data. Store data, we'll just put current goal array, and it's done. Right. Now to see this spectacularly crash. Should go and actually do this thing. And what are we missing? Goal. Oh, right, because this is of type. Ooh, okay, makes sense. Makes sense. Because we are now considering to use a goal object, not an actual string, which is what is coming from this form. So what we're going to do right now as a sort of an interface to this one, which we need to refactor a bit, because as you recall, we are proceeding to add more data. I'm going to say constant, let's call this one goal object. That sounds bad. Goal value. What is the then doing at line 46? Right, so what is this doing? It needs to return a promise because I cannot just put of type goal because there's an await and therefore it kind of is sync and therefore it needs to have a then slash catch kind of thing. So right now I just put a then. In the future I need to put a catch just for the errors. Basically it needs to have all that train of promise chain in order to get an await to return a type. Otherwise, be honest, I have no idea how to conturn this promise kind of thing. The only way I know is just if I just remove the type altogether and it would just accept any, and somewhat it will just typecast into the actual value. That's why it has goal then. Now, since I want to move this into their own component, or not really component, but more like an auxiliary kind of class or type, class. It will just be, I mean, the half step to just having everything with promises, and then once I import it back here, having all the logic inside this file, will just be all based on promises. That's the big picture. That's why it does have a then. So we want this type. Value equals to what? Equals to, what do you need? I'm doing this correctly, right? Oh, I can do it directly here. I don't need to do it. This. Right? Maybe not. But I could do this. I mean, I'm not imagining things, right? Or is it this? Is it? No. I completely forgot how to initialize inline. Damn it. So, do you like the ID? You don't really like it. Right, because this is an array. This is an array. Like this. And it is this. Now, yeah, ID. ID, not if. The ID would be obviously it cannot be 1. It needs to be an ID plus 1 or plus 2. Actually, I need to find a way to do this correctly. Actually, the ID might be the title, because it just needs to be a string. So let's see, what do I need? I just need all of this, friends. Here we go. And now this ID number might be the equals. Right. Right. I'm starting this as a string, as a number. Yeah, interesting. Let me try to solve this one first. Try to get data. Yep, there we go. This one, and now this one here. On the description would be YouTube. Save it. There we go. And now this one will go here. Now, to see what Hamza said, it doesn't need to be. Oh, right. I don't need to. That's why. Damn it. Was too distracted. It doesn't need to be. Right, just need a value. And then this value will go into add goal to array. Okay. Right. And now let me just go ahead and do which is there's store data. It should be console.log bug finish. Oh, a lot of little steps. A lot of things could go wrong. Let's go one by one. But first, I'm just saying it will work without the then. Now, I did work on that in a minute ago. I'm fairly sure that will complain, but let me see. I'll try that. So there's store, there's get, there's the function that we work on. So if I do this, right? This will return me a promise of a goal. But I do need to extract it, right? I mean, there's a good way to see that. Just do a console.log and do a debug. And let's say it. This name current array. And this is the big. Okay, that's the correct name. Now let's put this one. And do I need to JSONify this? Yeah, sure. I mean, sheer force of habit, I'll even stringify a string. Okay, so that's fine. It did refresh. If I set add goal, crash. Oh, didn't crash. Yay. Oh, no, actually, it didn't crash. Perfect. Did get to finish. So current goal array null. Obviously, it needs to be null because by default, value stored is null, right? But it did get to finish, which that means is that it did store it, the key goal array, the JSON goal array, which kind of reminds me, console log. Let me see if the data is getting here as it should. The debug, and here, and let's put a different value. Unfortunately, this is simulating Android keyboard, therefore, you have same inputs. Okay. ID title, and there's the second one, ID title. Yep, starting now with the second value. Although the ID is still the same, unfortunately. But actually, I have no idea how and why, but it's working at the first try. Weird. But you were correct. So apparently, if I, just to get it right, if I get a promise of whatever type, and that's the type that the constant is waiting for, it will actually return me that data without going to the then promise chain. Is that correct? I might be interpreting this wrong, Hamza. It might be me just, overthinking things. But since I saw well, promise, I was like, right, there's a promise. It needs to be solved by a Dane chain. Or this might be a shortcut. I'm not aware of something. Okay, so we have this tree while Hamza is typing away, hopefully. Let me just do a bit of a cleanup. Now, we also want to say, right, if it did start successfully, then what you need to do is to actually save. Sorry, just I had a phone call on my phone again during a stream. I mean, it's rare, but it does happen a lot on Wednesdays apparently. We need to do the final thing, which is, right, once we start everything, we need to move back to our home screen. But now, instead of going with our goals, we need to do a sort of flag. It basically says, well, if this flag is present, then basically just update data. Or does it? I mean, no, we can just do it by every single time we focus. At least for now. I don't see any problem with that. So let me do this. Let me do wait. Because we need to wait it to when it. Yes, await resolves. Then is to some processing now to resolve. Okay, perfect. Right now we are not handling any sort of problem with catches, but in the future we might have. So we might extend that in the future then. Right, so now we are awaiting for it to end, because remember, this is an async process. Once it starts saving data, it just goes on, which did happen for me before. Just finishing the window before it even saved. That was a fun time. So now that it's finished, we just need to navigate back. Right. Do we need all of this? No, we don't. Navigate back to goal window screen. Sometimes it's just hard to just keep up with names. We can remove this debug. Let me just take a look at the code. It looks alright. It does look alright. So let me do our first commit. And actually, let me do a to-do refactor this bit. Right, a lot of things happen. Let me just here. Ideally, I should have done smaller commits. So this one, oops, not 6, is 6 actually. Add storage. Read slash write. Looks alright to me. Close this one. Okay. Now to do what? We now need to go on the other side and actually retrieve data once it focuses. So now we need to move things to a different model, because now we're going to need these functions need to get data to a different screen, either this one or a different component. So actually, I have no. Every time I open a library, obviously no modules will open. So now I need to put a sort of, I wouldn't say constant. This might be a bad name. So here I'm going to create it, but yeah, it needs a better name. Let's call this one storage.ts. That's all right to me. Just storage, smaller, yes. We were here. Okay. Post these friends. One, and now let me start moving things. Let me start moving things here. So what would be the goal would be to have these functions available. So we need this one as well. here. In case we need more constants, it'll be like store keys. What seems to be the problem? Oh, okay. This is a new one. Never saw this one. So import from storage. Import our new type. Oh, it's fine. As long as there's an import before. Okay. Now we don't need to export that, but we need to export this one. And we need to export this one. Now these names kind of are too generic for their own good. Their own good. So let's import it now and take care of that in a second. There we go. Get data, store data from constant store. Looks alright. Move this dependency from here. And let's hope that this still works. Okay. I didn't put any logs now, but didn't crash. So it looks alright. Okay. We'll just know in a second. Now we've moved things into here. Actually, let me just do that really quickly. Just as a peace of mind. I don't trust myself with this. Actually, as you can see, I wanted to do console log, and I just was going to do json.stringify. There we go. Console.log debug. And I always put debug to make it easier to look up for what is going on console. Because I had a horrible project that will just output a lot of things. Values, and I would never know what the hell that was. So I created an habit of just typing debug on every single console log. So that if I saw one, it shouldn't be there, or is a different value, I know exactly how to search for it. So right now, I want to make sure that this is the value. Going to be put it here, and it's already stringified. I don't need to stringify it. Perfect. We do this, and BBB, and the BBB, and it's here. Storage, you said. Thank you so much for noticing. Storage. Here we go. Obviously, the imports now are like just on existing crisis. Like, we don't know. Nothing is found. Does make sense. Okay, seems to be working fine. And now if I just do a test one, should show. And where is test one? It should be on top, right? Yep. There we go. It is working as intended, although this ID will be sort of a complaint in a second here. It's still working fine. Let us then work a bit, because I don't want to extend too much today. Even I have to work just, outside of the stream. I know. Just to fix some things, let me just get the basic functionality of storage, which is doing right now. Getting data, which is kind of doing, but I want to actually also retrieve data and show data here. So let's see. Let me close this part. Let me go to our goals component and check return data. Yep. And instead of doing this, because we were just checking, it does. It's a bug. Yep. It needs to be increased somehow. I need to do a function to do that. But right now, the list item will basically the list will complain that the ID is the same, but we'll still do it anyways. So let me first put some things on the screen, and then I'll just fix it in a minute. So instead of doing all of this, what we are going to do is put this on ice. This, put it here. No, it's here. There we go. And let me put to do remove. Well, I didn't want it to auto format like that. And now what I need to do is every single time that the screen focus, let's do an await. Constant. Oh, this constant. Oh, it needs to be a constant. Constant array call. Equals to await because we need to wait for it, and we haven't done yet the animation or loading because we don't obviously want, if there's a lot of data, the user to click on something and then the whole app just freezes and the user is like, is my app slow or not? We're just going to show a little animation afterwards. If it doesn't, if I for some reason start to thinking closing the stream and I didn't do it, stop me. I might just have forgot about it. Let's do get data, which has a horrible name, I know, but we can fix it later. And now you will complain. No, actually it doesn't, because it's already inside the callback. Perfect. So you'll just do a wait, get all the data. Once it got the data, it goes to the next step. And now the next step is to actually set data. And what will this set data do? We'll get this array goals and just put it here. Is it that simple? It is. Oh, okay. There we go. See, this is the thing I was saying. It'll just complain that basically two children, at least two children, have the same key. This obviously will be more of a problem if I try to do a click on an item and try to open the ID or the characteristics of it. But I kind of knew that it could work without basically having distinct keys, but we need to fix it in a second. As you can see, now we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 items. And now if we go to the next one and say test 2 and add the goal, there we go. That's another one. And now if we do like test 3, I know. There we go. And I know. So now we fixed the list, quote, quote, obviously, by doing a quick and dirty kind of store, save, and once it got focus, basically retrieve the new item. So if I just go outside and go back, obviously it tries to get that data again because profile might change it, I guess, just in case. So now let me try to fix the IDs. Now we can just do that. Go back, do the animations and the IDs and whatnot. Let me see. Actually, let me see. If I put this just to scroll. I know. As you can see, I'm avoiding like a master that notification. Avoid clicking on it. Ah, perfect. Now it's scrolling and it looks fine. Let me see if I can see the animation. It doesn't show the animation. I do need to change this into more of a dark theme, don't I? I mean, if you guys are following the stream, your eyes might be burning a bit right now with all the white. I know mine are. And I do have a key light on top. Right. Now that we've done the meat of it, let's start polish a bit. First things, this ID cannot be static. Now, we do need a way to actually retrieve the last ID from the storage. Interesting conundrum. It might be that this would be better to put it here. So instead, well, but we do need to have other values once we add the other values. That would be on this item description. So how to do this? Let me think. We can go get the list item, get the last item from that list, and just add a +1 to that ID. That might be a good idea. Well, I don't see any problem with that. So let's do something in the lines of. But then again, I need that ID once I've created this item. So it needs a bit more of steps inside of here, doesn't it? Because then here I have this array. And what I can do is here, before I add the goal to the goal do array, so this would be saved goal to the array. It would be get the last key, and then would be something lines of add the ID. Yep, that's what I was thinking, Hamza. That was exactly what I was thinking. I say last, but what I meant actually is by doing unshift, the first one, right? I mean, I'm adding on top, obviously cannot be the Last of Us, or Last of Us. Yes, yeah, the video game. The last element of that array should be like get the first ID, which will be the actual latest. It's the end of the day, guys. Okay, so let's see. If it does exist, then it needs to actually have that. So it's exactly as Rama is saying. Ramza, sorry. I'm starting to cut letters. There we go. And this one will give us the latest ID, because it will always be the first one. Right, so we have the ID here, and that ID now we need to formulate the way to actually do this. So instead of doing maybe a goal, what we need to do is actually build a goal. So in order to do that, this one. That's why I was trying to get to a way to actually build this. Now, I'm building the object here, but what I can do is actually do something in lines of this goal value is not a goal value, it's an actual goal. Sorry, an actual title. Not here. Here, let me refactor this and call this one title. Instead of being a goal, this would be actually would be a string. There's a description, would be a string. And there's no ID, because that will not come here. And this case would be goal. And description would be a to-do for now. And we're going to take this friend. Too much. Maybe we need to rename this one. And here, this exists. Let's create this. Maybe I need to create this outside, because yep, it needs to be probably created outside. No, actually, it needs to be created inside, because then here would be ID 0 or ID 1, while here would be the last ID. Would be something in this lines. Title would be title. Description would be description. Can I do this? Maybe. Let's see if that works in a minute. Because I know if the properties are equal, we can just simplify it, but I have no idea if this is, there's a limit, certain constraints that you cannot do this. In terms of reading, it's a bit weird as well. Let's see. Yeah, okay. So now that I have this one, just need to do this, 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 and this. There we go. And now for our friend here, it needs to be this. It would be a new goal. Needs to be something this lines. I believe we can simplify this somewhat somewhere. Yep. Exactly. Damn it. I was about to do... I was thinking, should I put the plus plus? Just really just the same. It would be... Okay. Looks about right. Now, thing is, we've been stored some items here on the list. Even though if I just put here, because we haven't deleted yet. So let me just say test item. I don't know, something. And basically, oh, can I not put this? No, actually it's here. See, the problem now is that because of the ID is not maybe correctly, it might have this side effect. Now, how can we clean this list to check things out? Well, there's a simple way, which would be to delete the item, right? But we didn't implement that yet. So the second best way is by doing brute force. So you just locate whatever app we have, take it out, say uninstall it, or we can go also to settings and clear cache on the app, which I'll show you in a second. And this way, the whole app is wiped, including its data, and therefore, once it starts with 0 data. So let me also show the next way just in a second. Once we confirm that data is actually being correctly stored. Now it's empty. I still need to put that view that I said I was going to put. Test 1. Test 1. And now test 2. There we go. Now it's working fine. And no complaints about the, list items. Let's just confirm with test 3, just in case. Bricks. There we go. Notice the plus before the string 1 to typecast string. Let me see where you're saying that. Add +1 to ID, do this. +1, +1. Oh, I see what you're saying. Because this one is an actual string. I mean, this case here it's fine because ID is expecting a number. Therefore, it's always retrieving a number and adding a number. So it's safe right now. This one is not a string. Or am I not seeing what you're saying correctly? Might be that I'm wrong now, Ramzan. Just correct me if you want. Or if you want. Or feel free to correct me. Right now, just test it again. Test 4. I just want to make sure that this is solid. And test 4. Here. It started with 0, right? Right. Because I was like, ID 3, test 4. Okay. Seems to be working correctly. Line 27, but it worked. Right. Yeah, that's what I was saying. This one is creating an object, but it's type call. But ID is type number. One is going to be drawn on this list. What I'm doing is, calls, not the component, but the screen. I'm converting it, if I'm not mistaken. Actually, I'm using as it is. Now it's just ID, but dot ID, but it's just basically just accepting as it is. Here it's complaining because it doesn't have a type, obviously, because I need to do something like this. Yep. But yeah, here is not, here add goals. Yep. Add goals here. What I'm doing is not a string, it's just a number. Because that way it makes it easier to just go from number to string rather than everything as a string and then going back to a number, doing some sort of addition, and then going back to a string. I believe it's a bit simple. It might be wrong. Right, so we've done some progress. Let me just this. Let me confirm. Oh, right. Let me one thing at a time. let's just say first this one. Yep, there's a lot of things that changed. Let's say here 6 refactor. Oops, refactor error. Paste. Here would be 6 move storage methods on. Well, here would be. Damn, that's a lot of changes. This would be well, 2 changes I should have committed before. So it should be something the lines of add new storage, new storage fix. Yeah, not really satisfied with the name, but yeah, I should have done small commits. Okay, so far so good. We need 2 things still to do. First of all would be the animation, and the second one would be showing when there's no data. So let me take a minute to show you again and the different methods to actually wipe data. So I've shown you the brute force one. I'm going to show you the gentle way of doing, which would be going to apps. Now I need to find it's a bit different on this new Android version, but it should be all the same. There we go. All the apps of your Android device. Search for your Goals app. Goals app. Gaming dating app. Interesting project that I did. And Goals should be here. Oh, okay. It showed as highlighted. Okay. My bad, sorry. Now from here you can do a lot of things, including uninstall, but what we want is actually saying store and caching. Occupying 74 megabytes. Yeah, it's really weird. I wonder why is that big? Might be some overhead of the pre-compiled, pre-APK kind of file. Weird. Anyways, what it matters is clean storage. There we go. Now it's wiped. And now, if we go back a bit, full track, and now it should be empty. There we go. Perfect. Actually, let me do one quick thing real quickly. Replace, we done. Kind of, we're testing around. Yeah, we've done that. So now, we show, kind of make sport of this. So let me put an animation to it and no data available. Let's start with no data and then we'll go to the animation. Because then, every time we add things, we'll just lose the screen. So goal screen. It might be the overhead of React library before it's compiled. I believe once you compile and make an APK, it's way smaller than this. Right, so now what we're doing is we're just renting the list. If it exists, exists. If it doesn't, well, tough luck. Doesn't do anything. So we need to do a sort of an if inside of our render. It needs to be in the lines of if props.data. That is. Right now, I've put just anybody should be an array of type goals. Right, and goals should be capitalized because it doesn't recognize. Goals, goal. And there we go, that's the problem. And I believe the problem is that toString. Isn't this a problem? It is, because it is expecting a string. There we go. Oh damn, 50 megabytes. Okay, that explains a lot. So Hamza is saying on the chat that's basically just doing a simple Hello World, or basically the default app, which is the Hello World, right? It just takes 50 megabytes. I mean, I'm saying 50 megabytes as if nowadays is a lot. I mean, my Xbox here is kind of like the Model X is 1 terabyte. And I've just filled it up with all the games that I could. Like 50 megabytes nowadays is just, I think it's an acceptable value. Acceptable storage unit, I guess. Especially on Apple side. I mean, Jesus Christ. The new iMacs look pretty, but I was expecting to have more than 8 gigs of RAM. That just seems so little. Right. Let's rent. Afterwards, right now, we're just trying to see if props.data exists. Then does one thing. Otherwise, does another thing. So if it does exist, or if it's not null, let's say render. No data. No, render data. If it does not exist, let's do a render not no data. That will be the default. It will allow more. Right. But the thing is, at least on the website, I went to the website, like, oh, it might be like there's different specs or something. I mean, that's the base model. Yeah, but apparently they're going to make a pro model. And apparently the cheapest one, which was those ones, like just 8 gigs, which is kind of, I mean, at least for me, it's quite confusing because I'm so used to use on a day-to-day basis like 12 gigs, even on taking. So 8 gigs for me would be like you're just going to do iOS development and that's it. You're not going to run any sort of servers or whatsoever, which is a shame because I was trying to justify getting an iOS machine, but that one probably will not do. But I do like the colors, and I do hate that if I like a color and I wanted the cheapest one, I could not get it. I need to pay more. But I mean, that's Apple. And the first thing I saw when a friend of mine said, I was like, oh, there's colors. That means that those are the cheaper ones. Because normally when Apple gives you colors, kind of means that those are the cheaper ones. Except on the, not this generation of iPhones, but the previous one. I believe the 8 or 12? I have no idea. But there was one that was a red, which was quite powerful. They quite like that red one. Yeah, Apple has a weird history of, if it gives us options, it kind of is the cheapest one. Right, I'm just thinking at the same time and just speaking a different subjects. So I'm kind of like, what I'm doing. Right now, I'm just doing sub components here just to render both cases. So if it is one case, it will render one case. If it is the other one, basically if it has data or if it doesn't have data. Renders if there's no data. Doesn't sound right, but for now. He renders if there's data. I don't like the explanation, but for now it's just fine. And then there's the if there's data. The return. Oh. Are you allowing like this? Right, and this one needs to be a return. It needs to return something. A view. Run now. An empty component. Of data. Like a token. Really? Can I do this like this? No. Undefined. What am I missing? Oh, do I need to do double ones? Maybe. Yep. Probably need to. Probably. Here we go. Really. Not doing this correctly. What am I missing? Operator minus not be applied to types props. What am I doing wrong? Okay. Let me see. True. This needs to work. Let's see. Operator. Oh, god damn it! Really? Unsuspicious operator missing. So props.data, it exists. It'll render data, otherwise not data. It'll render data, but all of the time we need this one. Save it. And obviously it's not rendering no data because it's empty. So let's test this one out. Let's say that we want a text. And we want from React Native Paper. And we want to say like close this one and test. There we go. So no data. We'll show things. Let's say page 3. Isn't it like this? React Native Paper text. Might not be text, might be title what I'm thinking of. Because React Native Paper does have some sort of title to it instead of the regular text. There we go, there's title. Title might be better, but I could have sworn text had a lot of headline. Let's go with this one first. Title. Just replace the whole thing here. I might be thinking on the other library. This one. That's better. Now, we want to apply some flex to this. I know, sounds a bit weird. Like I'm flexing. Styles. Tools would be German, I guess. Styles would be styles? No, style. Styles. Dot. Let's call this one container no data. Doesn't exist, but that's fine because we're going to create that one. Flex 1 will be the same, right? So align items. I think it's items. I always forgot. Center. Justify content will be center. Almost. At first try. This is a personal victory to me because I never know at first try what will be the correct. Because I never know if it is align items, align content. It's just a mess trying to figure out. Oh god! Thank God for Flexbox. Right. So here I don't want to say text. Obviously, it's like no goals added. I think it's fine, simple. Now, I do this. Test. He'll show this one and I the other one. Perfect. Exactly what I wanted. Let me just put this one as another commit, and we are about to finish because now I'm just going to need to do the animation part, and we can call it a day. And we can have our goals app kind of almost running. We need to do some adjustments, probably on the forms, but I have no idea if I have time today. So let's see. Let's work it out. This one, add no data view. Right. But I am excited to see a new line of MacBook Pros with probably the next generation of M1s, although I do believe that Apple will try to milk it out for every single platform first, the M1, and then we'll think about getting a different kind of generation to the M1 chip. I am quite interested in the battery. It looks quite alright. I'm considering the MacBook Pro. Now I'm a bit redundant in terms of getting a first generation type of machine, especially a very expensive one. So I'm just waiting for the second generation that says, well, it just improves on about everything. And hopefully, it will not have a white bezel. Because white bezels, let's be frank, it kind of works statically on an office, but just outside it looks a bit weird. Try giving space in or putting them on a new line. What are you mentioning here, Hamza? Are you saying like this one or when there's no data? Okay. This one is fine. This one is fine. This one doesn't really need a view, to be honest, because well, this one will just occupy the whole space. So let me know what you mean. Where do you need to apply? Try giving a space in. And meanwhile, let me start by doing the actual thinning component. So where should I put this? I mean, it's a component. Let me say coding. Do I need to? Let me just add it first, and then I'll just extract it if I need to. So on add goals component, we want to add some sort of logic, right? We want to have a state that once it triggers, it will communicate to the screen and say, right, you are loading something, show loading animation. Kinda seems right. So what I want to do, first of all, is to add a state. So where is the state that I can steal from? Goals component, I guess. Yep. Let me copy this state. Let me put, excuse me, on add goals. And obviously I need to import this. And this will be of type Boolean. And it would be a loading. Most common used type of state, I guess. Set loading. And now will be as false. That will be the default value. Right, save it. There we go. Oh, right, we still need to handle this, but this will be handled once we've done a better form. Factor the description with an actual right. So now we have our state here. We need to say, right, let me start by actually doing the animation here. Now, again, we have plenty of things made for us. The correct name for the animation is activity indicator, which kind of doesn't sound like close to whatever we want to do, but it is kind of exactly what I want. So I want this one by default, and there's plenty of properties like, where is it? There's the animation. Is it the animation to hide? Really? Okay, so we want this one to be a large one. We want it to be centered. Let me see how to do this. Because I think we're missing one thing, very important, which is that to add a model. Oh, right. This. Okay. Added. Native paper. This color does not exist. Okay. Let me add this from React Native paper for now. If I go here, here. Okay. Yeah, it needs to be on a model. So we also have models here. So let me show you a model. It's not a dialog. It's quite close. Model. Here we go. There we go. That's exactly what I want. Uh, Miss. Can I make this one transparent? Or is it a portal? No, that's a different thing. Progress bar? So we want to create a model. It just covers the whole screen while it's loading. Because then we'll just kind of blocks the user from touching other interface buttons. Let's say like spamming on the submit button. And it obviously needs to have some sort of state that will not lock the users. Right, so let's see. Let's surface the switch. I mean, I could have done this with the button. Like, there's plenty of solutions, including on this button, I can put the loading animation. It's like blocked once it's clicked, and once it's solved, this loading state will unlock it or just move to another screen. And that's the end of it. But yeah, I want to put this on the middle of the screen, and that implies. Hopefully, I have time for all of this. Let's see. Oh, you have the portal, because the portal would just draw above whatever property this is. What is provider? Native paper. What is provider? That's quite. What is a provider? Provider might be a base library. Okay, fair enough. Let's build this one then. Let's see. Yeah, some triggers, which we're probably not going to need. There's the style. Okay, there's the model, content. Okay. What if I just use this? Let's see. Obviously, it doesn't exist. React Native paper. Instead of this one, this here. And the style would be what? Let's put it directly right now. Background is transparent and padding is 2. So to make it transparent, let me try to 1, 2, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and the last 2 will make it transparent. On dismiss, I don't know, trigger something, I guess. There we go. And on visible, place for now. And there we go. But obviously this model is just putting on the visible area. That's why we need to put it on actually the portal. Because the portal, I believe, will just put just above everything. Obviously, we don't want it to one click to dismiss. We actually want to remove that part, but one problem at a time. Let's see. There's the portal. I know you're complaining. There we go. Now it's occupying everything. Let's see. How can I put this model transparent? We are getting there. Dismissible. False. Perfect. Can I put this? Yep. So right now, it's not dismissible. There's the visible, which will be connected. Oh, let me remove this. To our loading state here. Now, what I need to do is actually to remove this background here. Do that. Could be the activity indicator that is the problem. React Native paper. React Native paper model parent. I mean, do I need to? Do I want to? I want to get to this point, but okay, let me see if I can do that. I might need to have some sort of model that is not like this, but okay, for now, I guess we can use this one. Oh, if we would watch. Teams, where are teams? Constants? Yeah, I need to improve these names here. There's colors. And now on colors, I need to put the backdrop as transparent. Okay. Maybe we'll not do anything because we are already with a fairly transparent kind of background. Actually, no. Okay, that's what I wanted. I wanted is the white area. Oh, I know. The white area might be actually a view. Therefore, be treated as such. If I do a view, it is obviously here, and then I say styles, style equals x1, yeah, then background color, transparent. Oops. Can I not copy this? Okay. Apparently, that's not a problem. React Native paper model transparent background. Yes. Oh. Okay. White bar. Visible. When a model is visible, the status bar is hidden. The status is an empty white block at top. Oh, okay, that's not our problem. Interesting conundrum, I guess. Not the problem. Yeah. Actually, I'll team the card. Card. To be honest, I have no idea at this point. No, do I want to wrap this eventually? I do. Oh, container style. Maybe this one? Did I put it here? No, actually I did. Right, okay. Transparent. All this trouble for nothing. I couldn't type transparent. There we go. Now, I need to increase size. Yep, I know. I see. You're just 2 minutes late, I guess. Well, I want size to be large. There we go. Now, do I want this color? Obviously not. I want to actually put not this one, But actually, I want to use our colors. Where is our colors? Our colors are in constant. Is here. This one. And now I want to use primary. Sure. Let's say team. For team. Team. Primary. Nope. Dot colors. Dot primary. I believe it's like this, right? Here we go. And our primary color. Secondary color then. Accent. There we go. Way brighter. And it will last while we have this one working. Now I can just take this one out. Let's say loading component. And constant if and now I just put this one inside of here. Damn it. Render. Actually, no. Not render, it's return. Damn it. Okay, this one here, here, save it. And the actual render now. Render, there we go. I want it, and I want to also copy this. Simplify this. Take this one out of the way and put it here. There we go. Still working. And now what I need to do is wire everything, right? So let me put this one here, here, and say loading. Loading. And save it and say loading. Type boolean. One. Then here do props dot loading. By default will be false. And now what I need to do is once it does add to goal, as it starts here. Nation, which will be set boolean is true. Ooh, I'm a bit tired now. We haven't done anything special, to be honest. Once it solves just about everything, before it goes on, I mean, just call this a day. So it's false. Now, I mean, it's an asynchronous state. Might complain. Save it. Wait. Let's test it out, right? Test goal E. Perfect. All this work for the second of animation. Test goal B. Ooh, okay. It's working perfectly as intended. Test. Oh, just because you might crash on third time, I don't know. There we go. No leaks, no anything. It's working perfectly. Getting data out of the library, the storage. Remember to remove dismissible false. What do you mean, Ramza? Let me see what you mean. Full screen. Not this one. It will be add goal screen. Let me see what you mean, Ramza, because I'm not following. Dismissible is false. Remove dismissible is false. Do you need... Oh, right. No, it needs to be there, I guess. Because there's a problem. If I remove this, I think it needs to be there. So if I do this... not entirely sure if... Okay. I'm trying to click as much as I can to try to dismiss it. But I guess it'll still be there while it's visible. So, okay. I get what you're saying. Oh, right. I also need to move this from here into actual style here. Let's call this one container model. The model. Copy this. Here. Save it. Copy. And put this one down here. There we go. Here we go. That's it. Okay. I think we can call it today, guys. No. Actually, it didn't make any difference. Maybe it's because it's too quick. But I don't see any difference. Even if I try to really click really quick, it will not dismiss immediately. So you might be correct. Again. 6. Add. There we go. Oof. I mean, we have done plenty, and we have done very little, to be honest. I mean, right now, it's way functional that it was when it started. So it was not showing anything. So now, if we were to just recap, now it's adding goals. We're still missing details, but that's fine. We can add it on the next stream. But if I do test goal, let's say, actually, let's do a quick, as it should be. Let's say lose weight, right? Popular one. Weight. So if I do this, dismiss, and say add goal, load, it would add itself to the top as it should. And we can scroll to our list item here. And if you go back and go back again, it'll just load itself if it needs to. It doesn't. Actually, we need to work on the profile as well. But right now, perfect. I don't want to extend this until 8 p.m. People need to go places as well. I don't want to take too much time of you guys. I mean, thank you guys for tuning in. It's been 2 hours. Whew. I think we are reaching somewhere with this. Hopefully, we'll be done by next stream. At least the main functionality, which will be now to have descriptions and probably some sort of type as well associated, and then just probably like sort of little sticker to it, just to keep it better. Just instead of having this icon, just having the actual icon and be able to delete those, because that would be very useful. But for now, guys, thank you so much for tuning in. If you didn't like the video, please do. Not for me, but for the community. Please keep dismissible false. Really? Okay, that's fine. Let me put that back in then. I believe you, Ramza. Let me see what that is. Goals dot. It needs to be screen. It needs to be here. And it needs to be dismissible as false. Okay. So 6. Right. Don't forget to like this video if you like it. Subscribe to see more content like this. And do not forget to see other videos and streams throughout the week. Which hopefully, I have no idea what we'll be streaming this week, to be honest. I'm a bit distracted. But if you go to our channel or our Discord, don't forget to subscribe to that as well. We are very active. By we, I mean the community. Right now, I'm kind of in the middle of being a hermit. And not to be too friendly, to be honest. But it's quite a good community. If you want some help, there will be more than they would just open their arms and just answer most of things, if not all of things, to you guys. So yeah, thank you so much for tuning in. I'll see you on the next stream. Bye for now. Have a lovely evening. Thank you, Ramza. And let's end for today. 1, 2, 3, and there we